Good morning, students. Today I'll be handling biology, first chapter. The chapter name is Functional Unit of Life. Being living organism, you know what the organisms are made of. So anyone, like, what are the organisms made up of? So each and every organisms are made up of cells. So what are cells? Cells are the basic unit of life, and cells are also structural and functional unit of life. So now how to define what is a cell? In your previous classes, even you have learned what is cell, what are its like parts and all. So cell may be defined as a basic unit of life, and it is also a functional and structural unit of life. So even how are these cells classified? Like whether the organism is a single cell or multi-cell. So there organisms are classified into two types. Those are unicellular, multicellular. So which organisms are called as multicellular and which organisms are called as unicellular? Unicellular organisms are those organisms which are made up of only one cell. Example is amoeba and even hydra, paramecium, etc. So now coming to multicellular organisms. So multicellular organisms are those organisms which are made up of two or more number of cells. Examples are plants, animals, and including human beings. In the further classification, even the living organisms are divided based on the nutrition. So what are those? One is autotrophs, second one is heterotrophs. So what are heterotrophs? Heterotrophs are those organisms which can prepare their food by themselves. Examples are plants. And heterotrophs are those organisms which depend on other organisms for their food. Examples are animals. So as you know how these autotrophs or the plants have prepared their own food. The plants prepare their own food with the help of carbon dioxide, water, sunlight. These preparation is called as photosynthesis, which you all know, with the help of an important pigment called as chlorophyll. So now in this chapter we are going to study what are the different parts of a cell, what are the basic parts, how are they function, how the structures look like, etc. So you know that cell has three basic parts. Those are cell membrane, then nucleus, cytoplasm. Other than this, cell also has cell organelles like mitochondria, Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum, and so on. There are many other cell organelles. First, we'll see what these three basic parts or parts which are there in the cell. The first one is a plasma membrane or cell membrane. So, what is plasma membrane? Plasma membrane is the outermost covering of the cell, plant cell. It is outermost outermost covering of a plant cell or an animal cell. Then next one, what does it help for? It helps in giving the finite shape and size to the cell. So even it helps in the selectively moving out and in of the particular substance into the cell or outside the cell. So the plasma membrane is also called as selectively permeable membrane. So hope you all got why it is called as selectively permeable membrane. Means selectively means it will let out which are the waste things inside present inside the cell to go out, and it will let in only the useful things to come in. So it is called as selectively permeable membrane. Like how this selectively permeable membrane, or what is the process involved, how this process takes place, like waste present inside the cell goes out or the useful things will come in, that we'll see like here. You know that how this diffusion process takes place. Any diffusion of any substance. For example, how this diffusion is defined is movement of any substance or the molecules from the higher concentration level to the lower concentration level. So how, example, if we take carbon dioxide, if the medium has like carbon dioxide level outside the environment is very less and inside the plant cell it is very high, then the carbon dioxide present inside the cell will come out. Or if we say that the oxygen levels inside the plant cell it is very less, so this oxygen level present which is present inside the environment comes into the cell. So how to define this like completely is, if we take a medium and if we say that the concentration level of carbon dioxide inside the cell is very low, if it feels, then the carbon dioxide present inside the outside the environment will move into the cell. Same thing happens even in the oxygen also. Next, even in case of water, the exchange takes place in the same way. So how it takes place is like water will come into the plant cell, or goes through a process called as osmosis. So how this osmosis is defined as, it is a form of a diffusion wherein the the movement of the molecules will be from higher concentration to this lower concentration, only with the help of semi-permeable membrane. there is only a semi-permeable membrane, then osmosis takes place. Like we have seen in your before classes also, this experiment or the activities conducted by the potato. We'll put salt solution in the medium, water is taken, nail is picked. So after half an hour, we see that the level of the water is increased. That sugar solution, whatever we have added, will increase. So the same way takes place even in plants also. The next part is we are going for the important thing. Suppose if you think that a plant cell or an animal cell is placed inside the sugar solution or the salt solution, then what happens to the plant cell or the animal cell? So the following three cases will happen. Like I am going to say those three cases. What happens if we place plant cell or an animal cell into the solution, like plant sugar solution or the salt solution? First case is, think that we have taken this as a sugar solution, then we have placed the cell, plant cell or animal cell. So first thing what happens is, if we think if the surrounding concentration level is more and the concentration which is present inside is very less, so the cell will take in the water, whatever the present inside, whatever the water solution is present, that water goes into the cell. So that time the cell will swell. So that time that solution or that process is called as hypotonic process. Second case is isotonic. Here also, here we take the same thing, place the cell into the salt solution or the sugar solution. Here what happens, if the water concentration level present inside the medium and outside the medium is same, that means the water which is present goes same into the cell and the same amount will come back to the cell. That means there is no rise or fall of the water levels. So such a process is called as isotonic process. Means water level will not even rise or water level will not go down. Here the water level will go down. Water level, like since this water, cell which is present inside the solution will swell. So here the concentration, here it is very less. The third case is hypertonic. Here also the same thing. If we take this medium and place the plant cell in that medium, so here the medium which is present, this is highly concentrated, means this whatever the water or water present inside the cell will come out, means there is more amount of water coming outside the cell than coming into the cell, means the cell will shrink. So such wherein the cell will shrink or that process is called as hypertonic process. So this was all about the first part which is uh, first part which is cell membrane or the plasma membrane. There is one more process involved. It's like endocytosis. What does this endocytosis mean? So, in all these before cases, we have seen like osmosis is very important process for the. It plays very important role in selectively permeable membrane. Means only the selected whatever the selected parts are there or the things are there will let in, and the waste whatever present inside the cell will go out. What does this endocytosis mean? The process in which the cell enables to engulf the food and other materials from its external environment. Means it is a process in which the cell will take engulf the food and other materials from the external environment. The cell will engulf whatever the required food or the materials from the external, will take the external food, whatever present will take it and use it for its process. Such as a process is called as endocytosis. So the next important part is cell wall. This is only present in plant cell. This is absent in animal cell. You all know that, you have read already that differences between the plant cell and animal cell. So cell wall is only present in plant cell. So what this cell wall is rigid. It is outermost part of the cell. So the plasma membrane which is there, it is made up of proteins and lipids. In the same way, this cell wall is made up of cellulose. What is the cellulose? Cellulose is a complex substance. It is a complex substance which gives the structure to the cell. That how the cell should be, what should be the functions of the cell. Everything is taken by the cell wall. Means cell wall is very important in case of plant cell. The next, what the process is plasmolysis. What is this plasmolysis? Whenever the living plant loses the water through osmosis, then there is a shrinkage or contraction of the cell contents, such away from the cell. That process is called as plasmolysis. Means whenever there is when the living plant cell loses the water, means it will lose all its water which is present. Then there is a shrinkage or the contraction in the cell. That process is called as plasmolysis. The next important part in the plant cell is nucleus. So what is this nucleus? Nucleus is the centermost part. You know already, this is called as nucleus. It is double layered. So it is double layered. That what the double layer which is present is called nuclear membrane. So exactly, if we see this nucleus under microscope, It will be in this shape. So this is called as nuclear membrane, which appear only during the cell division. Whenever there is a cell division inside the plant cell or the animal cell, inside the cell, whenever there is a cell division from one cell to two cell or multi-cell, these chromosomes are present. What does this chromosome contain? Chromosomes contain DNA, which helps in inheritance functions from the parents to the next generation. So chromosome contains DNA. Those DNA which are responsible for inheritance functions, structures, whatever, from the parents to the next generation. So what is the important thing which is present in DNA is genes. So what is the functional unit of DNA? Genes. Genes are present inside the DNA, which gives all these inheritance functions to the organism. So the nucleus also contains this nucleotide, nucleic acid. Based on this presence of nucleotide, nucleic acid, nuclear membrane, further they are divided into different parts. Like if in any organism nuclear membrane is absent, only the nucleic acids are present. Nucleic acids, nucleotides are present. Such an organism are called as prokaryotes. So what does this prokaryotes mean? Pro means primitive or primary. Primary mean at the earlier stage. They are at the earlier stage. Karyotes mean nucleus. So what does this prokaryotes mean? Prokaryotes mean the organisms in which the cell membrane is absent and only nucleic acids, nucleotides are present. Such an organisms are called as prokaryotes. And there is one more this thing, eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are those organisms in which all this nuclear membrane, nucleic acid, nucleolus, nucleotide, everything is present. Organism is called as eukaryotes. So till now we have seen three basic parts of the cell, that is nuclear membrane or the plasma membrane, cell wall and the nucleus. In the next class there is other things which are present, those are called as cell organelles. We are going to see what are the different types of cell organelles present inside the cell and what are its functions, how they are structured, how they look like, what are the different parts inside those cell organelles. We are going to see in the next class. Thank you.